Hello, hello. Hello, welcome to another ES Futures trading stream. My name is Victor, and today is Friday, May 23rd. It is 9:01 a.m. Eastern Time in the US. This is a channel, or this is a stream to talk when I talk about market dynamics, what is happening in the market, what may happen, based in odds, right, or probabilities. What we have now, before I go to what is happening, let's just review what's happening overall. Yesterday, or before yesterday, we have a day, that where you can see high contrast in volume. Right? After the market, notice how volume decreases, keeps decreasing here, as the market keeps going higher. Huh? Prices go higher, start to range, but it just doesn't have acceptance. It doesn't attract new buyers. And as soon as we have this inside day and establish a trend to the downside, volume starts to appear. We have here probably liquidation, and a little bit more than a liquidation. The area is very tricky, I would say. There's a lot of things that are going on here. For once, the 200 is above the 100, and you will see this if I use the non-adjusted. It is just starting to happen here, right? But this puts everything in sync. There's no doubt about. I mean, if any kind of chart you may be using, you will see that happening now. Systematic buying happening in the weekly, and I think this is really important in the monthly. When this market, we have a V shape here, and it just couldn't take. If this 6,000, we were talking about how if this 6,000 was not being, or if the market was not going to be able to take this 6,000, some movement to the downside can happen kind of quick, or maybe we may have something to the downside. The weekly start to show another something really relevant here, right? The last 5-week range before these all-time highs. There's no excess in the all-time highs. We can see last year high, this year high, no excess in the all-time high, and the market just re-entered this last range here, right? Past week, but it doesn't have acceptance here. And when the market retraces and gets back inside this week here, the potential is the opposite side of this range, which takes us to the next thing, right? We were talking since the beginning of the week how these weekly gaps are very unusual. It is a nuance in this market, also that sooner rather than later this gap is going to be filled. And the way how it was made also, that is within the odds, right? Now let's zoom in a little bit. Let's go to the daily. We have this high here, right? This high. I we have the 200 here. This market did not get the 200, and I got this range here just to highlight what might be happening here. We have a look below this range. Look below. We have had previously a look below here and failed, and the market closing above previous day high, giving us an outside day. And now it's selling. We talked about this yesterday. It's selling from the 200, trying to find support around the 100. But what happened here is, now we have the next day, opening outside this range and not getting acceptance inside. That may target this gap. That's how I close my homework yesterday. But anything can happen here. I'm not saying that I can see the future. Anything can happen. I am flat. I was rather thinking, come on, man. And I was thinking this because of what happened yesterday. Let me show you now what do I have here. Alright, what happened yesterday, we have this day, right, in which I have this 21.1%, which is the high of this late rally. They have a previous day here, giving us a very questionable high here, and this one as well. Okay, let me split this. I guess I am mistaken here. Okay, there was this and this here, right? Notice this is the low this is the high of the lower distribution. A heavily traded area here. Heavily traded area here this day. Come on. What the heck? What the heck is happening? Oh, I don't see that because this is. Let me undo all the matches. Okay. Well, there's something now. Alright. There's something's happening here. In the same way as we have this is heavy traded area here. Now we have this heavy traded area from this day, and it's just curious to see that this overnight is trading below this. Well, I was watching this yesterday, but nothing happened yesterday. What catch my attention is how the day close. And how it closes, we have this non-excess high, which actually gives us 4 white high, 1, 2, 3, 4 here, and 3 white low here. Why I call it 3 white? Because I got 1, 2 here, and another one here from this day here. This one here, right? Which makes this low questionable. Now I don't care about these days now. I just split it to explain, right? I don't care about this one either. Okay. The next thing is, when I had this one, this market can go on any this kind of high limits the downside, this kind of high lows limits the upside. I was thinking, having this market in this position, the dynamics of this market were every time the market has a breakout, it gets closer to the trend when it was going higher. And the participation on this market, I don't see any change on that. Alright. Still, I don't see any change. If effectively there is no change. There could be something here, right? We have a breakout getting away of this trend now and trading sideways towards this one and then selling or breaking down to the downside. We have a range here now. That's remarkable. I believe, right? This is not again. Trading is. I don't. I will not. I don't work basically on confirmation. If you wait for confirmation, I think that diminishes the odds. This can be too late, right? This is something. Also, that's why I'm flat. I was flat because I thought this could probably be a potential for a sequential trade here. And why I say that, right? The trade was, in my opinion, going to be, if any of these highs is, then these extremes is taken, the trade is actually the opposite, because the potential of sequential trade is here. But that being said, trading has something very important that is fundamental to trading, and it is uncertainty, right? We never know when something is going to happen, if something is going to happen. We never know. But especially, particularly now, under this administration, the uncertainty is really high. And I was thinking about this and talking about this, that we are going to have this kind of environment at least for until midterms, right? I think something happens in midterms. If it happens, even, right? If it doesn't happen, if there's no change in midterms, I expect at least 4 more years of this. That's the panoramic view. And what we have here, we have a huge, the last time I checked this market was when the market was just like this, right? The market was taking probably what I thought was making this low here, and the market being all over the place. Okay, well, we have a gap here. Probably some rally, having seen this very prominent overnight POC up here, but here comes the news, right? Just a tweet comes Trump threatening Apple, threatening the European Union with more tariffs and all that kind of thing, right? And that's what gave us this tremendous break here. And what this does is, notice where the market is now, 57.70. 57 is right here, right? That is 57.70. That puts the market kind of like around the center of the gap, right? This one is questionable, this low is questionable, that's why I have this arrow here. We have this market at the center of the gap. The market, now take a look at this. The market is gapping to the downside, trying to close this gap with a gap. That just tells us the tremendous amount of uncertainty under which we are working here. So the risk is very high here. Now this is a knee-jerk reaction to the news. Notice where the high is coming from, right from here, right? This is not, overall 350, the overnight session is not a referential of trading. Any kind of activity, a big one, can move the market to extremes, and nobody likes that, right? It's not anyone's interest to kill a market. If you're going to sell something, if you are somebody big that wanna move inventory, right? Rebalancing inventory or do something with your portfolio, this is not good. This is not good. Which tells me that this is short-term trade, basically. But this is not for today only. This has been happening for a while now. there's some in that regard there's not much change. What I am seeing here is just short-term trading that has been happening for a long time now. Now notice where this market stops here. I was doing my homework here. I'm going to and the homework's really important. It's really important. How much time I have? Yeah, I got kind of like a good amount of time here. What I'm going to do here. Let me give you a second. Let me screenshot this thing so I can place it in Discord here. So you have time. You have more time to watch this. Just give me a second. Alright. Got here now. So this is one, and this is another. I can plan as much as I so this is it, right? This is one part, this is the monthly, there's observations for the weekly, observations for the daily, got market profiles, right? What the bond market, my observations on the bond market here. My bad. This is one. This is what I showed you. This is shorter. Monthly, weekly, daily, and the other bond markets here. With the other sequential trade, which is what I was watching, was paying particular attention to that yesterday. But again, right? We never know what's going to happen in this kind of environment. Anything can happen. Anything can happen, literally. Alright? You may be planning or in making a decision to do something, and just something happened that throws a wrench in there. That is what I think happened here. Let me just remove that. What I am watching now. Oh, this weekly. I was talking about this weekly here. This is this weekly time frame. It's trend line. And I started to watch this 50 here in the weekly when the market did this. When the market did this 1 month ago, stopped it right there, again stopped it right there. That's what I'm watching now. That's when I decided to see, to pay attention to this one. Look at what happened here as well. But I didn't see this. I started seeing here. Alright. And that is the reason why I have it here in my market. Also, that comes from the month, from the weekly. Something that comes from the monthly, this reference that I have here, is this high here, right? And that's change, right? If the market comes back inside this range, I want to see what happened to this. If there is some down, some exit, because there's tremendous amount of selling here, and the market basically, looks below this range, previous month range, and closes inside. This is a look below a fail, right? In the bigger time frame, this is a fail. What that does is targets the opposite side of this range, which has almost reached it. And then the same guidelines that you use here, you use it here again. When the market approaches it is take this one out and extends to the upside, it looks above and fails and do something similar like this, like in the opposite, like in here, but in the opposite direction, or it don't even reach it, right? You never know, but those are guidelines, and that's why I have this one here. I am going to go ahead and get rid of this one. And what is this? This is overnight distribution close. This is a huge overnight from this gap here, right? And what the market does now is getting inside this lower distribution. Let me show you what I mean. This day here, this huge session, this one here, right? While doing this, the market is coming back inside this one. And look at this. What the heck is this? This is overnight POC. Remember, I was treating these overnights as a regular sessions because they have higher volume. This is not as much. 400 is not that much. When the market was going lower is when I see 800, 100, 1 million. That's huge, man. That's huge. And I treated this overnight as a regular profile, regular trading hours profile. The market does now, right now, is putting the market back inside this overnight. It puts back inside this overnight and targets this one here. 5.9. 5.9 is week over the weekend. What do you have this week? Look at this weekend. Look at this day. Right? Look at where this opens and where the market opens over the weekend. There's a huge gap here. Huge gap here. This is the high of the day, but this is where it closed. This is a gap inside a gap. Oh God. Okay, let me do something here. I want to do. This is something I'm just realizing here. What is 57.34? It's 34. I'm going to do what I'm going to do. I'm going to put this. What the heck? I'm going to put 57.34 in here. Where is 57.34? Up here. Here, right? 35. This one. This law is very questionable. Right now, what we have right now, we have inventory very short. We have inventory really short here, right? Which gives us a rebalancing day, and we have now even shorter. inventory getting short here. Remember, next week, I think one of the most important thing next week, or to monitor next week, is Nvidia. The market needs some room for that stock. Where it is the 20? Where it is? The 27, 28 now. When is the 28? Wednesday. Now the market opens the 27. Opens the 27, and Nvidia next day. Very uncertain markets here. Very uncertain market. Right? This one here that I saw here yesterday, this was the only opportunity we have yesterday. Here, after market failing to take this high, leave a non-excess high. It's really hard to. It was really hard to get to this one. Really hard. One of the dynamics here is when market starts to break and then we have a sudden upside, it retraces like 4 or 8 points in a fraction of a second. That was an opportunity to entry, but it's really hard to get into that one. But I didn't expect much. But what we have here is way more than I saw. Alright, we are just a couple of seconds, a couple of minutes into the opening. Very uncertain markets, very uncertain markets. We have a continuation of the downside trend. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 days trending lower. Early in the session yesterday, the first sign of negative market was the market getting out of previous day range in the first period, which is a continuation of the downside trend. Now it's opening with a gap. Those are those little ones, those little most likely. For example, if you have been yesterday in the stream, this one here, this early piece of information, by the time the market did this, probably you will have forgotten about that, right? And that's how this job is. We have to have carry information over, right? So we can understand what the market is doing, and you make a decision on to make a decision to join or not to join, or to assess a risk. Anyways, all right, guys. I wish you have a wonderful trading day. Here, I think there will be more opportunities today. Volatility is kind of high. We are now back above 20s. We are 25 now, and there can be something here. Just have some patience to see what happens. I am still watching this high here. All right. Again, have a wonderful trading day.